All right. Multifire. Anything else you want to talk about?
Um, Gundam 08th MS Team is an anime. It's another Gundam
That's
anime.
a
It's
that's a
like
that's another Gundam anime that was on Cartoon Network.
I
Except
didn't
it
know it
was
was
on.
on Cartoon Network
Yeah,
either.
it was on it was on Toonami Midnight Run actually. It's the only
Huh.
Gundam series I actually watched from start to finish, and I remember liking it.
It's an excellent show. Especially since they don't overpower the Gundams, like in Gundam Wing. The Gundams are like basically like any other mecha. They can easily be harmed or destroyed, and they actually end up having to replace, since they're in the jungle, they keep having to replace the parts of their Gundams with a bunch of scrap metal. And the basic thing about this is, it's Xeon trying to win just barely again, but it's much more liberal in the sense like we shouldn't be fighting, we should be friends because it's basically Romeo and Juliet with Gundams.
Yeah, they actually shoved in a Romeo and Juliet plot element in there. That's like there's the male character who's in the Federation. There was the female who's in Xeon.
And they did it surprisingly well. It's very dramatic and romantic. It's got a great ending, which I'm not going to spoil that for you, but yeah, that's one thing I haven't actually picked up yet, but I've seen it and I want to pick it up. So that's one thing that people should be checking out.
All right, next anime is this one's actually been licensed by Funimation, and they were recently advertising it. So this is how I stumbled onto the show. And Multifire and I actually watched the first episode together. It's called Sekirei.
Yeah, God. It's horrible.
Why do I do this to myself?
It's got that syndrome where they can't fight. There always has to be like either a cutaway shot or a convenient excuse of why they can't fight.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning. This is an anime about it's about it's a harem show, and it
Mm,
also advertises itself as a martial artist action show.
mm.
Um, but you don't really see that much of it. I only saw 2 episodes, so yeah, this is just for, like I said, just first impressions. But so far, I'm really not liking it, and I don't have like an incentive to keep watching. But it's basically about like this a combat that's going on with these women called Sekiris or whatever.
Uh,
That was started by some quack doctor scientist dude.
yeah.
And there's also some people, Sekiris also have like assistants called Ashikabis. What do they do?
Yeah.
How do they work? I don't fucking know. They haven't even started on
It,
that. Or they
it's
did.
like
They did, but they probably pushed it back later. And the they basically take almost every element of some most popular harem shows, and then they try to be a little more subtle. Well, actually, no, they don't try to be subtle about it. They're quite opposite.
it
But
feels like Pokemon with women, really.
yeah,
Is the vibe I got.
well, to me, it feels like something dumber than that. Um, but the main character apparently he can't graduate. He's like trying to get into an entrance exam to college or whatever, and he's like failing on his second time. So right off the bat, this reminds me of Keitaro from Love Hina, and already I was hating it. And then
Yeah.
some girl fell out of the sky. Hey, look, that's two on the counter. Trust me, there's gonna be a third one. Um, and she dresses up like a shrine maiden with a red miniskirt, so she kind of looks like a fighter outfit, and she's like being attacked by a bunch of like shaggy haired twins who use electrical attacks or whatever. Well, anyway, and then she like kisses the dude because it turns out he's the Ashikabi, and the twins, because they're pussies and they don't want to fight Sekirays who found Ashikabis, they basically run off after they done that shit. And we get some exposition about the Sekirai tournament, whatever, and then in the next episode they move into a boarding house. That's pretty much it.
And there's the anime in a nutshell.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I also love the fact that the anime takes place in the year 2020, but nothing looks futuristic about it yet. It's set in
Yeah.
the future. You don't have to be
Have an
realistic. Be
imagination.
creative.
I know. And
I don't.
I love how everyone, like, if you're gonna do like, there's nothing wrong with harem or fan service, but do it right. Like, the way they do it in this show,
They need to bounce out on a ratio like 50-50.
they have to have, it's not even fun. Like,
No.
it I could forgive it for not having like a good story and not having a good script if it was a little bit of fun, but it's not fun. It's actually it hurt me to watch it. It really did. Like
I
I was
really don't
like, I want
care.
to stop.
I don't want you to try to tell a story with this concept because it's dumb.
Yeah,
I just want to see women punching and kicking and hurting each other.
yeah, that's the
You
way to
know,
do it.
shit.
And they didn't give us that. They're
No,
like,
two
they're gonna
episodes in and they
fight.
didn't
No.
give us that. If anyone's seen more and tells me it gets better later on, then maybe I'll give it another chance. But other than that, I can't really recommend this. I mean, I think they have the episodes available on YouTube by Funimation if you want to watch, but nah.
Even Ikki Tosin, there was fighting in the very first episode.
Yeah,
Like,
poorly animated, but it was still
and
more than
yeah,
Seki, right?
like if you're gonna have a martial arts anime, give us some fighting. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's all you need. Airmaster is basically its plot and characters are as deep as a kiddie pool. But why do I love that show so much? Because it excels in great fighting animation. It has some really over-the-top fight scenes and little hilarious quirks that makes fun of other fighting shows. But okay, any other shows you got to talk about? You want to talk about?
No, I think that pretty much ties it up for me.
Well, I got one more show, and it's called this I saw yesterday. A friend of mine from college introduced me to the show yesterday. I only saw 2 episodes of it. It's basically by the same animation studio who did Sekirei and the second season of Yukitosu and whatnot. It's another fan service bullshit show. It's called Hiyaka Ryoran Samurai Girls. Now, my friend called it Samurai Girls or Samurai Girl, and I was thinking, oh, is he talking about Real Bout High School, whatever? But he shows
Yeah.
me this show, and it's basically a complete bastardization of the Sengoku period. I will mention some pros about it so far. I do like the art style. I do like how everything's drawn. And I do like the fact that the characters have like stick out, like in the background's got this more old-fashioned art look to it. The main character so far, he's not a dweeb or a loser. He actually looks like he can handle himself pretty well in a fight, but that's by looks. I don't know. I'm not completely sure if he's any good in a fight. But those are like the only 2 pros. Other than
Yeah.
that, it was a pretty boring show. And like I said, it completely bastardizes the Sengoku period. I don't mind if they take like civil liberties or whatever, but okay, it's basically a bunch of fan service women, so it's a harem show. There's like this one character that almost looks like a bitchier version of Mei from Guilty Gear because they have like the same shaped hat. And then there was some other chick who only wears a thong and a loincloth. That's it. And there's Hattori Hanzo.
They destroyed the king of
My
ninja.
God, I have to talk about this character's design. First off, Hattori Hanzo became a female. Is that a bad thing? No. But here's where things get stupid. I'm actually going to physically describe her character. I have the image right here, and I'm going to put it up on the video. She dresses up like a maid. She basically has like a base shoulder collar. By the way, almost everyone and also some of the characters like wear schoolgirl uniforms, but they're like in different colors and whatnot. Whatever. But she wears a maid uniform, and she basically wears it for 2 reasons. One, she's a servant to, I believe it was a female version of Tokugawa. But the second reason is obviously to cater to the maid fetish people.
Yeah.
And she wears these like sticks. She wears like sandals with giant sticks on the bottom that basically excel her height by like half a foot. She has, I think it looks like a giant scroll on her head. But at first I thought they were like giant goofy robot ears or something. And she wears glasses. And they also work as a scouter. And also, in this particular screenshot, she has a bunch of ninja blades under her skirt, like a shit ton of ninja blades. Like, unbelievably. Her legs should be shredded up holding that. And then there's Yagyu Jubei, who basically rips off of every bipolar moe anime character out there, such as Lucy slash New from Elfen Lied, Rena Ryugu from Higurashi, Katsura from School Days. At that point, I was actually tired of that character archetype, so
Yeah.
when I saw Yagyu Jubei act like that, I liked her more when she was a psychotic, sadistic, fighting bitch, but I did not like her little cutesy moe side because this is just an idea that's basically been done to death, like within 5 years' time. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe a
it's
little longer, but I remember like seeing that much of that stuff for 5 years. But yeah, second episode, nothing much really happens except for more fan service. And I got a comment on this. On the broadcast televised versions, they actually censor the nudity with ink blots that splatter on the screen. The reason why they
yeah.
did this is because in a lot of the scenes, there will be like mindless black splatters like all over the screen or whatever. It actually kind of distracted a decent fight scene at one point. And, I guess they were doing it to be artsy. And
They failed.
it kind of looked cool, but it looks like they're overdoing it, and it's just 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So far, I'm not liking that show. I don't know if I can continue watching it. I'm gonna give it a pass.
What is with the Japanese and this recent uprising of butchering their own badasses in their history?
I have no idea. I really don't. Well,
Like, imagine if we did that. If we turned George Patton into like a skirt wearing chick who like loves popsicles or some shit, and we made that into a cartoon.
what if we turned Abe Lincoln into a busty blonde who throws her hat like Oddjob from Goldfinger?
I think I might actually watch it if they had that character.
Let's break the Civil War.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Oh,
that's terrible. I mean, they've been doing that a lot of times in the Three Kingdoms. They borrow ideas from the Three Kingdoms era all the time. Ikito's
yeah.
is an example.
Huh?
Um, but yeah, I wouldn't mind if Hanzo was. I didn't mind if Hanzo had a gender change as long as she's badass. But
Badass. Like
I
if
forgot to
she,
mention that Hanzo in this anime is actually pretty timid and she's actually always being intimidated. Did not
yeah.
like her. I was hoping she would be a little more authoritative, but she's not. And she fucking leads a clan of female ninjas, so that's pretty embarrassing.
I know. What the fuck? Like, uh, that's such a face palm.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. Maybe I'll do more anime related videos again. Um, you want to say anything, Multifire?
No, that's basically it for me.
All
I'll
right.
see you guys in future videos.
All right then. And this is Darkscream 217 signing out.